Welcome back, our viewer. We'll continue with our questions to David. Now, David, you had mentioned about how to respond to risks associated with hazards and opportunities. Are there techniques to risk response?
Thank you, Brenda, for that once again. And yes, it's true that we have discussed about the way we can respond to the risks, whether they are positive or they are negative. And now the question is, how then can we deal with this response we are talking about? And this now brings the issue of controls, because risk management is about controlling.
Okay.
And there are various ways to which controls can be done, depending on at which stage of the risk are we at. Primarily, you find if there is a cause and there is the risk itself and there is the impact. Yes. When we are at, if we prevent the activity from, for example, happening, then we have prevented ourselves. For example, a loss will not happen. But if, for example, we are moving on with the activity, but we have put measures to try and control that risk, you'll find that now maybe we can be able to limit the damage that could happen. Or maybe, unfortunately, if the risks have materialized, what we can do is now to try and contain what we have, to try not to have further losses. So from those scenarios, there are various ways to which we can respond to those risks. There are techniques to which we can be able to apply so that we're able to manage the risks depending at which level is it in. And the first one will be preventive controls. Okay. Even when you are young, Brenda, there's this phrase that we used to hear: prevention is better than cure. When they were talking about preventing, it means that every effort is done before the risk itself has been able to materialize itself. Yes. And for example, if it is an organization and it is having wants to maybe bring director of finance, and they are having interviews. You know, when they come and do drug screening, they are trying to see whether the finance director they are going to employ is free of drug, because if they employ that kind of a person who is drug addicted, then you find that the likelihood of things going bad is high and the impact will be high. So those are preventive measures. And the dominant response is to terminate. If we have this person who has come to this interview and has tested, is addicted to drugs, so the best thing is to do what? Is to terminate that person so that doesn't come to the organization. Those are called preventive controls. They are preventing the loss from happening. Okay. From that, we can have what we call corrective controls. And these corrective controls, already the process is there, and we are doing corrective measures so that we can prevent that loss from happening. We can, if it has happened, we can do damage limitation, or even if it has actually even have an impact, we can do a cost containment. For example, when you find that you go to some places, they use biometric system, and they want you to put, for example, maybe a password or a finger scan. They are doing corrective controls so that they are preventing an activity from happening. And if it has happened, it can also be used to prevent, the damage that could have happened is limited, or also they can contain the loss that could have happened as a result. Okay. So, and the dominant risk response here is treatment. You remember our treatment. Yes. So risk treatment will go together with corrective controls. Okay. And the third one will be now the directive controls. Remember we talked about when the likelihood is high, when the likelihood is low, and the impact is high, then you need to transfer that risk to somebody else.
Yes.
What you are doing, you are directing. You are they are directive controls, and this like giving instructions. Yeah. So we are saying, for example, when we are asking staff in a production,
Yes.
that always wear safety boots. Always wear masks when you are passing through this chemical process. That we are preventing the risks through directive controls.
Okay.
And because you're using directive controls, the dominant risk response here is to transfer, because it's using directive controls.
Okay.
The third one is detective controls.
Okay.
And you are detecting.
Yes.
So you are detecting after the event has happened.
Wow.
Yes, because when you go to a plane and they're saying this plane is fitted with smoke detectors, when will the detectors sense there is smoke? Is it before the fire have started or after the fire have started? It is after the fire has started.
Yes.
So it means that already the risk have triggered in, and what they are trying to do is now to contain that situation.
Okay.
So those are called detective controls. Or for example, in our accounting, and we have a finance department, and at the end of the month, they are doing bank reconciliations.
Yes.
When do they discover there was fraud? When they are doing bank reconciliations. Is it before the fraud has happened, or is after that is revealed by the bank reconciliation? It is after the fraud has happened. So they have detected that this risk materialized and it has caused this damage. So what can we do is to do a cost containment. What can we do to remedy this loss that we have suffered as a result of the detective technique that you have used in the risk response? And we are saying that this will happen actually when the likelihood is low, and also maybe the impact would not be high enough to warrant, for example, transfers and the rest. And all these are ways in which we can be able to use the techniques we can be able to use as a result of now tolerate, treat, transfer, and terminate.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So risk response is more of, or risk management is more so about controls.
Perfectly so.
Okay, okay. So are they used in isolation?
That's another very good question, Brenda, that you're saying. If we have, can we use preventive controls together with corrective controls, directive controls, and detective controls? Yes, and maybe I would want to give this through an example. Let's imagine there is a transport company that has drivers who are now driving maybe passenger vehicles or goods. Yeah? And if I give an example of preventive controls, is for example the same example that we have given. When they screen their drivers when they come for employment, so that they know that they are not addicted to alcohol, they are not addicted to drugs, they don't get angry at because of a small thing, then they are doing preventive controls.
Okay.
When they know that yes, our drivers are good, but they can be tempted to overspeed on the roads, and maybe there is a law that says that vehicle should not go beyond 80 kilometers per hour. When they are putting speed governors, they are doing corrective controls, right?
Okay.
And also when they take the drivers to training, they are training them on how maybe the road safety, they are training them on how to deal with maybe a problematic passenger, you know, how to handle those kind of things. Now they are doing directive controls. And also, when they go and fit the vehicle with tracking,
Okay.
maybe the driver might want to move away from the route and supply some goods to another route. They are doing detective controls, because the company that they have given the tracking might say, hey, we have seen that your vehicle is off the route and has gone to this area, because the activity has already happened, but has been detected by the other company there. Then that becomes a detective control. So you can use preventive controls, corrective controls, directive controls, and even detective controls in the same organization, depending on at what level are we at that risk that we are managing.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, David. For more of this content, subscribe, like, share, and comment. See you on the next one.